that means it is closing the gap time. Hello, everyone. I am Nicole Thornton, your coach and trainer for TCRG Atlanta. Make sure you follow me at Your Real Estate Style Pro.
And hey guys, this is Naysha Clark, coach and trainer for TCRG Orlando. You can follow me at The Right Realtor, ATLFL.
Guys, we have an amazing guest with us today, Alexis Lee. Yes! Woo! Alexis is a real estate investor. She is amazing. So make sure that you follow her at Alexis Lee Real Estate. A little bit later in the Zoom meeting, we'll give you some background information on her, but you don't want to miss it.
And before we get into the juices and the berries and all this good stuff, we definitely want to thank all of our visitors today. Alexandra Johnson, Nicole Torres, Al Anderson, and Krishan Elliott. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Cole Realty Group Closing the Gap. Also, make sure you if you haven't done already, make sure you subscribe to the Closing the Gap on YouTube. Definitely, if there's ever a time during the week that you're unable to log into Closing the Gap on a Wednesday, you can definitely make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. New under contract so far for December, 11 deals under contract, equaling $3,270,960. That is amazing. We are literally only in the middle of December and we're in the middle of Christmas season and we are still doing amazing. We have Nicole Hilton, the Jamaican rock star, with 3 under contract, Brandy Perry with 1 under contract, Henry Mitchell with 1 under contract, Tamia Miller with 1 under contract, Naysha Clark, that's me, with 1 under contract, Wanda Maybank with 1 under contract, Charisma with 1, Sharice with 1, and Dominique, woo, with 1. I think that's her first deal under contract. Congratulations, girlie. For the December closings, December 1st to the 14th, we have 9 transactions closed so far, equaling $3,003,000. Nicole, our very own coach and trainer for the Cole Realty Group Orlando, with 3 closed, equaling $932,000. Nicole Hilton with 3 closed equals $940,000. Chanel with 1 close equaling $560,000. And Charisma with 1 close with $295,000, and BP, Brandy Perry, with 1 close at $271,000. That is amazing, guys. Let's keep going, keep going.
Keep going. I'm back, y'all. Sorry. All right, so you know Zillow is our baby. Oh my God, y'all. You got the Red Hunters in at $12,911,000. And then you got the pros at $20,922,323. But don't let up on the gas. We still got a couple of weeks left in this month. We need $16,976,000. And we know with the Cole Realty Group, everything is possible. So we can't wait to see who's going to win the competition, guys.
But we know it's going to be the pros. Nicole, come on.
I can hear you guys. Y'all ain't going to gang up on me. I'm right here.
How you gonna slip in like that, boss? How you gonna slip in like that?
I'm always here. Y'all ain't gonna do me. Y'all ain't gonna do them hunters like that. That's what you're not gonna do.
Boss, we love the hunters. We love y'all. All right, so now is the time, ladies and gentlemen. We are discussing creating opportunities with investment properties and Airbnbs, and we are so delighted to have Alexis Lee with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Tell
us a little bit about yourself, Alexis.
Sure. So I'm so grateful to be here. Anytime I get to talk to, especially agents, about investing, it's just fun because, you all are already experienced, you have knowledge of the industry. And I think sometimes we get so caught up with building wealth for other people that we forget to build wealth for ourselves. And so I think it's so important. I've been a licensed agent for 11 years. I still sell real estate on the residential side and commercial side. But, my main primary thing is I am an investor and trying to move into more passively investing. I purchased my first property right when I graduated from college in 2006. And then we know in 2008, the market crashed and I pretty much lost all the value in my property. I didn't want to continue staying there. So I started what I say, I became a non-traditional house hacker. Is I rented my property out because I didn't have anything else I could do with it, just to cover my mortgage. And then I purchased another property on auction, and I used a 203K loan to renovate it. I moved in it. I stayed in it for 2 years, then moved back in with my parents, bought another house, moved out of that one, rented it out. And I did that 4 times until I pretty much moved into my parents' basement for 4 years. During that time, I owned a hair company. And so from 2011 to 2016, I was in the hair industry, and I was we were doing over $1 million a year. And I was completely miserable. I hated every minute of it. So it was a lot. So I ended up getting out of that. I bought my first property. I didn't know what I was going to do next. And I happened to be on a cruise with my family, and I was bidding on properties online. And I won on auction.com. And me and my dad went in, didn't know that we had bought a trap house, but we did. And we went in, cleaned it up. It took us about 3 weeks. I put it on the market, and we got an all cash offer, and we made $18,000 on it. And since then, I've just been going.
Wow. I mean, that's a phenomenal story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I can't switch the slides. So
Josh, next slide.
So then after that, I did the first one. And then pretty much in the end of 16, 17, I moved in with my parents' basement, and I really just started flipping as much as possible. I was still working my 9 to 5. Thank goodness I worked from home, and I was flipping properties. I was pretty much taking all of my money and investing it back into real estate. So I went from owning, when I moved back in with my parents, 2 properties to now currently 24. And all the money that I was making from flipping, I was investing it into buy and holds. In 2019, I had a flip that we did. And for some reason, I just wasn't, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful property. It was well done, but I wasn't getting the offers that I wanted on the property. And so I always say that's how I accidentally got my first Airbnb, because I just wasn't getting the offers. And for some reason, I was just like, you know what? I had staged it myself. So I had all the furniture. I was like, hey, it's not going to take me but maybe another $1,000 to turn this into an Airbnb. Let's just see how it does. And so that's how I got my first one. And it has definitely helped propel me into, being able to leave my 9 to 5, and it pays a lot of the bills. So
wow.
I always say, right now I have 3 Airbnbs. And they do good, and the return on investment is great. Is it a lot more work? It's more work than long-term rentals. And I'll kind of talk about that a little bit, because I know some people were interested in short-term rentals, but you kind of can't beat the cash flow that it brings in if you do it the right way. So yeah. So just recently I got out of my parents' basement and I built my own home myself. And here we are. That's all caught up on me. So my little bit of my investing journey, because I feel like sometimes it's important to kind of tell where you've been, because some people think it's an overnight thing, and it definitely has not been. I've been in this a long little minute, and it kind of, sometimes people see you on social media and they think, bam, it just happened overnight, but it definitely didn't. It's a process. And I tell people, every year, you don't have to come in buying 10 properties a year, or holding 10 properties, or flipping 10 properties. But you know what? Doing one hold a year can really have a major change on your life, and your outcome, and building your wealth and your legacy that you're leaving. So.
Absolutely. Well, I know I'm excited, and I know Naysha is as well, to hear more about it, because, like I was telling you earlier, several of the agents with the Cole Realty Group have an interest in flipping. And in fact, we do have a couple. I know you are familiar, Chanel, she's flipped a couple as well. So we're just excited to learn more about it. It's always nice to have those multiple streams of income. And like you said, if you're in the business, having one per year is a game changer. So let's go, girl. Tell us all about it.
I know that's right. I hope y'all got y'all pen and paper ready, because I don't learn.
Yeah, so real quick. So I'll go through some high level things with you all. I'll go through the main ways that I like to find my deals for my flips or buy and holds. Then I'll go through how we fund them. I'll talk about contractors, because I will tell anybody from the jump, the contractor that you choose to work with, if you're not managing it yourself, will have a major impact. They can make or break your deal, right? The work
Don't I know that?
Yes, they will definitely make or break your deal. So it's so important that we make sure we are picking the right contractors. So we'll go over that. So everybody wants to know, Alexis, please, how the heck do you even find the deals, right? And it's not as hard as people think. They think that, oh, I just don't know necessarily where to find the deals. But I know you all know, because you're agents. So I'm sure most of you all are working with investors and you are finding properties. And so you're finding them for other investors. So really, you just need to shift your hat and find them for yourself. But there are a lot of ways outside of being on the market deals that you can find properties to renovate, and that's either to flip or buy and hold. But first option is, if you're just getting started, y'all are licensed agents, so you can be looking on the MLS yourself. I'm telling you, this year there has been a major shift because there's not a lot of foreclosures out there. Tax liens are dried up some, just because of eviction moratoriums, and then people are not foreclosing on properties. A lot of the mortgage companies put a hold on that. They're giving people all these different extensions. So auction sites, I love them, and they're just now starting to rebound. So this year, I bought 2 properties this year, a triplex, and I bought a single family home that I made an Airbnb. The triplex has been a journey dealing with City of Atlanta and permitting. We are finishing it up now. Actually, my partner that's doing it is going to hold the property, so he's buying me out of it. So he's closing on that at the end of the year. So he'll hold the triplex and he'll be renting it out on Airbnb. And then I have a single family that I bought. We got both of those on the market, listed. Anybody could have found them. We got them, put in offers. Just real quick, the numbers on the triplex. We bought it for $145,000. We put 100, we're way over budget. We ended up putting 130 into it. It had mold issues that we had a challenging time remediating, but we were able to do it. We budgeted 95, we're at 130, but the ARV after repair value on it is 400 plus. Wow. And he's probably going to end up cash flowing. I don't know why I let him have this, but probably after his mortgage payment, renting 1 unit out, the bottom unit, with a regular tenant, and Airbnb in 2 top units, he's probably going to be bringing in $4,000 plus after his mortgage and expenses.
Oh my God. Wow. That's amazing.
I told you. Exactly. You don't get it, I'm keeping it.
That's nice.
So, I mean, that's just where we are in the market, and that's how, it's in Atlanta, so it's going to rent out well. It's around other homes that have been gentrified. So, we lucked up on it, but it was pretty much just us doing the research and finding the property. And it was on the market. So anybody could have grabbed it up, Auction sites, I still love auction sites. That's how I got started. I feel like you get really good deals dealing with foreclosures. They're just slow right now. So next year, I'll start looking into auction sites a lot more heavily because there'll be more properties on there. So next slide.
So one question for you, Alexis, I'm sorry. When you say the auction site, can you give us a couple of those for those individuals that are interested? I'll place it in the chat. Is there a particular site that you use?
Yeah, I use auction.com, Hudson and Marshall, and Hubzu. Those are probably the 3 main ones I use. Why do I like all 3 of those? Because contrary to what people think, they think if you go on auction sites, it says they'll look at the listing and then it'll say cash, right? All cash. That means there's no financing on it, but that does not include hard money. So I can still use the hard money loan, buy it on the auction site. I got 30 days to close. I work with hard money lenders. They can close me out in 8 to 10 days. So you can use hard money on those sites and people don't know it. They think, oh my gosh, I got to have 150 cash and I don't have it. No, you don't. You got to have 20% down and use a hard money lender and be able to buy the property. So
So when you
just to
in
kind
your,
of,
go ahead, Naysha, I'm sorry.
just to kind of piggyback on what Alexis said. I mean, many people don't know that, but the crazy part is I literally worked for Hubzu before. That's where I left.
Oh, really?
Come here full time, do real estate full time. I was with Hubzu since 2015.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
You got some contacts that can send me
I
some?
do.
I
That's
know
why you
that.
gotta talk to people. That's why you gotta talk to
That's
people.
why you gotta talk. That's right.
Yeah.
Come on, tell them, send them listens this way, please.
And so, Alexis, I wanted to ask you a question. When you in your presentation, are you going to get into hard money and what that process kind of looks like just a little bit? I do have a couple of questions about that. I wasn't sure.
I don't have it in my presentation, but I don't mind discussing it. So
okay, so I'll ask my questions at the end. Go ahead.
Okay. Another option for finding the deals is
Y'all, Alexis is gonna kill me.
What?
She does teach a class, you guys. I don't know what the class entails, but she does have a class. But I did ask her to give us a little meat, and you guys can maybe take the class for the potatoes. Okay. But don't kill me, Alexis. Don't kill me.
Okay. No, you know what? I mean, this is what we got 20 people on here. I don't mind answering anything. I don't even care if I teach it, right? Because I do offer a course online. It's 5 modules. Each module is 2 hours long. There is no way I could cover everything that I cover in my course on here. And I also do, I have a class coming up on Tuesday. It's my last class of the year, and it's an introductory class for people who are interested. And I really break the numbers down on there. We just wouldn't have time to do it on here. But yeah, I have a 5 module course. No matter how many questions you ask, you won't be able to get everything I offer in my course. So y'all ain't gotta try to bombard me. Y'all gonna get it all.
Girl, we're gonna ask you all the questions, but we look, this just the appetizer, y'all. So we're gonna get the entree and the dessert when we take the course. Okay, go ahead.
So I got you. So other ways to find deals. Another way is wholesalers, right? I tell everybody, wholesalers, they get you the off-market deals. They're out here busting it and really going direct to seller, which is where we kind of would like to be. Anytime you can go direct to seller, somebody, you got a friend who says they want to sell a house. That's the best way. Direct to seller is always the best way. But wholesalers are the next step as direct to sellers. You just have to know your numbers when you deal with wholesalers. They don't know. Guess what? Because they don't renovate really like that. And so they're going to make up numbers and they're going to make up ARVs. So I always just like to make sure I'm doing my due diligence on a property, knowing what the renovation costs are and truly what the ARV is, using comps, because they just making up stuff most of the time. So I have got to the point where I work with a select handful of wholesalers, and that's beneficial for me. We have built a trusting relationship. So I know if they're sending me something, they're not trying to bang me over the head on their assignment fee that they're making. They got to get paid too. They got to eat, feed their families. But usually I know it's going to be a solid deal if they're sending it to me. Driving for dollars. Driving for dollars is the same thing as direct to seller, right? You going around, you're already showing properties to potential buyers. You should be looking for dilapidated properties. If you pull up to a house and next door you see, I always say, if they don't have trash cans and it looks like they don't have any trash cans outside, the mailbox is full, it's probably a vacant home. You should be writing down that address, looking up the owner and contacting them and asking if they want to sell their property. That's the easiest way. You're already out driving for dollars. You're showing properties. You can be actually jotting down these addresses and finding off-market deals. It's just the best way to get the best deal, period. It is. All right. Tax liens.
Mm-hmm.
I like tax liens. I love them. You do have to have cash though. Okay. So this is another factor. Now they got to be your cash. You can use loans or whatever, but when you go bidding on them courthouse steps, they gonna want their cash. Okay. So wherever you get it from, however you fund it, that's fine, but you need to bring them a cashier's check. All right. So tax liens, they've kind of dried up. They're very competitive right now, but here's what I like. I think a lot of people, when they want to flip, what they do not know is a lot of these counties, even in Georgia, they have land banks. where you can make offers on tax lien properties without actually having to go to the courthouse steps, right? And so they're auctioning them off. They want to get the taxes. They're foreclosed on them. They need work. Clayton County has a land bank. You can look up those properties. You can build the relationships in Clayton County. And, you know, you don't have to be on that competitive on the courthouse steps, trying to raise your hand, trying to bid, you know, because that is not for everybody, right? Now, auction.com actually offers the ability for you to do proxy bids online. So if you don't feel comfortable going down there, guess what? Auction.com, you can bid straight through there for tax lien properties if you have the cash. So I think that's an important thing to think about too. But also one thing to note when you're looking at tax liens is the redemption period. You need to know it for the state that you're in. Why? Because once you pay that cash,
right,
you still ain't doing nothing. You ain't getting ready to do nothing in Georgia for a whole year before you can actually foreclose on the property, right? And so the redemption period gives the owner the opportunity to pay back. Why is it still a win-win for you if you win a tax lien? Because even if they do redeem, guess what? They have to pay you 25%.
Right.
You can't beat that. Your money won't make 25% interest sitting in the bank in 1 year. So you either get 25% interest, which I'll take that, or you get the property and the ability to foreclose on it. Okay. That's ways you can find deals, people. I tell everybody, these are the simple ways to find deals, but here's where it comes down to. Anybody that is in my mentorship program, they are required when they are actively looking for a deal, they have to spend 2 hours a day searching for deals. Why? Wow. It takes that much time to analyze deals and find the right deals, right? They can't be in my program unless they're spending 2 hours a day analyzing deals. And I tell you, anybody spending 2 hours a day analyzing deals, in 30 days, you will have a property. It just happens that way, right? So I just always say, are you spending your, if I have a mentee who hadn't got a property, I had one, it took her 60 days, but she wasn't putting in the time. She was about to get kicked out of my program with no refund because I'm not giving you no money back because that's not what we do, right?
That's right.
Now she started putting in the work, putting it in, analyzing the deals. And within 7 days of really doing that, she got a good property over here off Ben Hill, a great one. You know, so it just takes the work, really. All right.
Next slide. Okay.
So everybody wants to know about financing, right? So how all right, now I done found it, girl, but how am I pay for it? I don't know. I need to figure out how I'm gonna pay for it. So easy way is, if you find something on market, you can't always do this, right? As long as your debt to income ratio is right. And if you find something that already has a tenant in place paying rent on a lease, most lenders won't count that against your debt to income ratio, right? Because they're going to count it as cash flow. So you can always find something with a tenant already in place and put 20% down, right? Your 20% is going to be in that property. If you already have, you say, I got the cash, Alexis, I have it. I can put 20% down and let it sit as long as it's cash flowing good for me. I do that as well. I don't do it as much anymore, but when I first started, I always would put like just 20% down. I bought a house in 30315 in 2017. I put 20% down. I paid $60,000 for it, put 20% down with closing costs and everything. That was $16,000 out of pocket. At the time, it was on a Atlanta Housing Authority voucher, Section 8. I was making $740. My mortgage was $340, $334, something like that. And that's with escrow, everything escrow. I was paying $334 on this property. I was getting $740. Now, that ain't the best margins that I like. I don't like the margins, right? Because that's a few couple hundred a month. But it was a good entry for me to get in, right? Because then after 1 year, I went to Atlanta Housing and said, this house is below market. Now I get $1,200 a month. I still paid $334. Now that's the kind of cash flow that I want to be making. Now I paid $60 for it. I just recently had it appraised last year and it appraised for $160. So wow. I'm putting 20% down on something like that. I've made my money back already. Now I'm just pretty much, Atlanta Housing is paying my mortgage and I'm cash flowing. So we have to kind of think about it like that. What's the 3 to 5 year, 10-year play on it? Is it worth you putting 20% down? Is it in an area that's going to appreciate? You know, what kind of developments are happening? So getting a conventional bank loan, no problem with that if the factors make sense. All right. Fix and flip loans. You want to know about hard money loans.
Yes.
Okay. So what we call fix and flip, hard money, same thing, interchangeable. They're short-term loans, right? So what we know it's going to be short-term because we're only getting this loan while we're renovating the property.
Right.
And then you have to have an exit strategy. So you either got to sell it or you got to refinance it, because the fix and flip people, those lenders want their money back. They don't really care after that, after you fixed it up, right? And so why do we like hard money loans? One, they close quick. Two, they're going to give you the money for the renovations. And so it's a low way to be able to get in to do a renovation on the property, refinance out, pull your money back out, and either hold the asset or sell it, right? And so I use fix and flip loans all the time. When I first started, I was like, no, I'm just going to try to get the money together. I get loans from my mama. She in the other room. She here. She probably like, I owe her some money right now, but she's an investor. But yeah, fix and flip loans, they are great. So what is typically happening? Say you just getting started, right? I'm just starting. Are they going to give me a hard money loan? Most people are going to get a hard money loan if you have a decent credit score. 650 or above, you can go get a hard money loan at a decent interest rate. And they're going to say, okay, you don't have any experience, so your interest rate is going to be higher. And they're probably going to make you put down more money, but they're still going to finance it if the numbers work. So they'll say, instead of you putting down 15% of the purchase price and we giving you 100% of the renovation cost, since you're higher risk, because you don't know what you're doing, because you ain't did it before to them, you're going to have to put down anywhere from 20 to 25%. We'll still probably give you 100% of the renovation cost, but your interest rate is now, instead of, our regular people who have experience of a 4 or 5% interest rate, yours is going to be 9%, and we're going to make you put down 20%. Would I still do it? Each and every single time. It does not matter. Only thing that matters is, do your numbers work, right?
Right.
With their interest rate, how much you have to put down, any additional fees they have, are you still making money once you have major renovations versus what the ARV is, after repair value, and what you plan to either sell it for or what you can refinance for? If that works,
hard money loans, don't they normally, they lend on basically what the equity is going to be after the repair value, right?
The ARV, after repair value, right? So they're going to lend you typically 70% loan to value. Why 70%, Alexis? Because if you are planning to hold it and you're going to refinance out, the bank is only going to give you 70% loan to value typically, unless you have experience or over a 780 credit score. Some banks now are giving you 80% loan to value, but a hard money lender is going to be more conservative. They're going to say, you need to have, your purchase price and your renovation should not be more than 70% loan to value. Your total amount versus what the property is worth can't be more than 70%.
And so, Alexis, to your point, when you're talking about making sure that you have a great contractor and for that repair budget, can you go into that a little bit more?
I got you.
Okay.
Really, two slides away.
Okay, one more question. I don't know if it's in your slides or not.
Okay.
When you are financing that hard money loan, are you responsible for making payments throughout the renovations?
Absolutely. You have a monthly interest payment on that hard money loan. This is why it's so important, and we'll get to it when you're dealing with contractors, to make sure that you are managing the timeline, because every month they're over, that's a month away from your profit. It's coming out of your pocket, right? So if I'm planning to only be in a house for 30 days and I have a $1,300 interest payment every month, I'm budgeting $3,900, right? So now I went over 6 months. Now that's an additional $3,900 that I didn't budget. So where is it coming from? Your bottom line, and it's coming out of your pocket every month. So you have to factor that in. So that's why it's so important when we start saying, oh, I want to flip. Okay, what is your budget and how soon can you get it done? Because every day matters when it comes to your bottom line.
And it's probably better if you're just starting in investing in hard money that you start small, right?
Listen, I'll tell any and everybody right now in this market with the cost of materials, and everything is so skyrocketing. I mean, I just got an email from my cabinet person. They're going up 15%. Everything continued. They already went up 10% this summer. Now they're going up an additional 15 because of supply chain issues. And so materials are up, cabinets are up, flooring is up. So I tell anybody getting started, you do not know enough to do a full gut renovation. You just don't. And I don't trust any contractors, period, point blank. I ain't met one in Atlanta that I trust, and I know almost all of them. I don't trust none of them. And you shouldn't either, ever. So you want to have the knowledge to be able to know what is going on, not putting all your faith and your money, really, that's what you're putting in somebody else's hands to trust. So I tell anybody, you need to start off with cosmetic. Look, right now ain't the time to be trying to tear down and build it back up. Get you some experience with doing carpet, paint, fixtures, maybe updating the bathroom, and then move your way into it, because it's a lot. It is. And those budgets, they go from little to big really quickly.
Real quick.
Opening up walls.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would agree. We do have a couple of questions in the chat.
The chat's blowing up.
Yeah, it is.
So Alexandra would like to know, what do you consider to be a good interest rate on a hard money loan?
It depends, right? Because it's going to depend on your experience and your credit. So me, I've been doing this a little while. I'm in there in the 4s, right? I'm in the 4. That's low. And sometimes lower than that. But when I started out, 8 to 12 was not unusual.
And then Alexis, do you recommend any particular hard money lenders that you work with?
I do. Oh, I need to give y'all my code, right? So I use Lending Home. I get $500 and you get a tablet if you work with them. So hit me. I need to get y'all my code. You know what? I'll put it in the link in my Instagram bio. I'll put it in there, right? Okay. So you'll get a tablet and I get $500 like full.
Nice. Okay. Yes, we definitely need that.
But I would not recommend them if it's not who I use. I use them regularly. I think they move the fastest of everyone that I've used. I like them, and I like Ground Floor. I think they're both cognizant on closing dates, and they try to meet those deadlines. And I like for processes to be streamlined. So I like to be able to upload my documents. I don't like having to email them. I like to upload them, see they're there. I like to see when the appraisal's been done, and everybody can see what's going on. So Ground Floor, Lending Home, I like both of them. For refinances, I like, I'm using right now RCN Capital, right? Because they're one of the only lenders that do 80% loan to value, but they slow. So I tell everybody the truth. I like them. They do 80%. That's a good thing. Their appraisers actually are pretty good, but they're slow. So that's my.
And that was RCN Capital?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Alexis, the 2 hard money lenders that you like to use, their turn time, closing time is what, the 10 to 14 days?
So they usually can get you closed out in 14 to 21 days when you first started. If you have experience and you can get in their Premier program, they usually guarantee a closeout date of 8 to 10 days. So usually they get me closed out pretty quick. We usually just waiting on title to come back at that point.
When I tell you, I literally got 3 deals right now that I need a new hard money lender, like right now.
Really?
Like right now, right, Nicole? Like right now.
Yeah.
Like right now.
Immediately.
Like
as soon as we get on the phone.
Slow. Some of them move slow. I don't like that. Yeah. It's challenging. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I use Lending Home. They're now called, they've moved to Kiave, I think that's their name, but you can still put in Lending Home and they'll come up. I don't know why they changed their name. I had a meeting with one of their executives. I was like, let me just tell you, don't do this. But they did.
All right, Josh, next slide.
So another way too for financing, which I think is, is tapping into your home equity. A lot of people already own their primary residence, and now with values and appraised values going up so much, I think we're up like 15, almost 50. Most people are up like 15% this year. You know, people have equity in their homes. A great way to use it. I say it's so hard to get a HELOC now. You usually got to go to, you know, Wells Fargo said, no, they ain't doing it no more. Chase said, no, we ain't doing no more HELOCs. So a lot of people are saying they're not doing it, but a lot of the smaller credit unions are still doing HELOCs. And really, I feel like their process is a lot easier anyways. So, and they give better rates. So find a smaller credit union, or if you are planning to refinance your home, because a lot of people are refinancing to get these lower interest rates, great. Look at how much equity you are. Don't necessarily go the route, because I know a lot of banks are coming to presenting to homeowners saying, hey, we can do a quick no doc refi for you, right? We're going to give you that lower rate. We're going to refinance you out and you're going to be good. But look into doing a cash out refi. If you have the equity in your home, you can pull some of the cash out, use that cash to invest in other real estate. I'm working on since I'm self-employed now, I'm doing a bank statement loan. I know a lot of us are, you know, we're 1099. I'm doing a bank statement loan. Is the interest rate higher for bank statement loans for self-employed individuals? Yeah, but if I wait, interest rates might go up next year anyway. So I can get in like 4.5% on a bank statement loan. I might wait next year to be able to do just a regular refinance, and I might still be at 4.5. So I'm doing a bank statement loan now, pulling equity out of my primary residence. And what is Alexis going to do? I'm going to go buy some property. Yes. I'm not using the money to go on no trips. I ain't using it to go sign my kid up for traveling T-ball or cheer team, none of that. Is to invest. And I would never pull money out of an asset unless it was to invest in other assets. Period. Yeah. All right. Private lending, which I think this is one that a lot of people don't feel like, they always feel like they don't have anybody, that they don't know nobody with no money. And I just be like, you need to take inventory of the people around you. You might need to get into some circles with people with money. If you don't know anybody that would allow you to loan you money at a decent interest rate to be able to invest. I think it's important that we start building our circles up, you know, keep your day ones, but get you around some people with some money. You know, you start changing your circle, you start seeing investments different. I joined a mastermind group with somebody who is now my private lender, who lends me money for almost all of my deals. So I don't necessarily have to go to hard money lenders anymore. He finances my deals for me. You know, and it was just about getting in those rooms, getting in those circles, and then finding people who will invest. I know, you know, I got an investor sitting in the other room. I'm going to always tap into her. And I'm waiting on her to, I knew I was waiting to get a reaction out of her. She just said, So I knew, you know, but your family, people who are sitting on money that you can make them additional interest without them, that they won't make that money sitting in the bank. We have people, we know people that are sitting on money they're making now. I just checked my online savings account. I was originally getting like 3% on it. They down to 0.5. I'm like, geez, ain't nobody giving no interest on no money. So, you know, tell them, give them a reasonable amount, 5, 6, 10%. You just getting started, you know, you don't know nothing. So 10% interest on their money, you hold it for a year, they won't make that with it sitting in the bank, you know, so give them an incentive to want to invest with you. All right. Make sense?
Makes sense.
All right.
Yes. Josh, next slide.
All right. We're going to go into contractors, and I'll run through these questions. It's a lot of questions. I think I got like 3 slides on it. It's usually, I have a whole handout that I usually give people with all of these questions, because when I tell you, contractors will make or break your deal. They really will. They'll put you in an uncomfortable situation when it's time to sell the property. And that's just not what you want. So I only work, there are a ton of people floating around here saying that they're contractors, and they're not licensed, guys. They are not. There ain't nothing but a handful of licensed contractors out here, and everybody else is just pulling under them. And that's just the game right now. So I want to make sure I'm working with somebody who's licensed. How long have they been doing the work? Are they insured? How many projects they're working on? Because a lot of times when people are working on multiple projects, that's going to slow down your project, right? And if they are working on multiple projects, great. Do they have property managers that are solely focused on your deal, making sure your project is moving. Because it's okay if they're working on multiple ones, but who's managing it? Because they can't manage all of them. They can't be at every property. And then you get there and stuff been done that's not right, and you trying to go back and fix it because it's not right because nobody was there managing it. And so you got to make sure that you either got a property manager that's handling all of their deals and specifically focusing on yours. If they are licensed, I always say, I want to see your license, I want to see your driver's license, and I want to see your proof of insurance. It's so important because this is your asset. It's your business name on the flip or the property that you're renovating. And it's important that you make sure you secure your asset. The last thing you want doing is subcontractors coming back saying somebody owe you some money and they owe some money and they're putting a lien on your property, right? I know a friend of mine right now dealing with a $30,000 lien because he had somebody who said that they were a contractor, but they were really an architect managing his deal. And now he's trying to close and didn't even know he had a lien on his property. Trying to sell a $700,000 house, and he got a $30,000 lien that he gave the contractor the money, but they didn't pay. So now what's he doing? They're letting him close, but they're making him put $30,000 in an escrow account till it all gets worked out. Nobody wants to deal with that. You don't want to deal with that. So you want to make sure you're dealing with reputable people. You want to know. Here's what I say. I make sure everybody gets paid because I don't give the contractors money. I don't. They tell me how much the subs need and I write the check for the subs, right? And that's what you want to do. I've been burnt several times myself when I first started off giving people money, you know, even them just hustling me saying it's going to be $4,000, but really the sub was charging them $3,000 and they hustled me out of $1,000 because I wasn't managing the purse. And so I always manage the purse. The checkbook is me. And I always tell you to do that. And if any contractor has a problem with that, then that's just not who you need to work with. It's okay. Like, you ain't got to be bullied into working with somebody. Don't ever be that thirsty. You know, make sure you are handling your business, right? And managing the money is the important part of it. And they say, well, they told me they needed money for materials. That's fine. They can go get the materials. Wherever they go get them from, almost everybody here do a phone sale. And you can put your credit card in over the phone and they can get the materials they need. You don't need to give them money for materials. They can get them. Only person that might have that issue is an electrician. That's the only one. That's the only person on my staff that I actually give money to materials for because he has to get certain things, or HVAC, because you can't just go buy an HVAC unit. You have to be licensed to do that. But guess what? I'm not giving him that money until it's about to go in. So that's it. So it's really important. You can go to the next slide and y'all can kind of read through it. I'm just kind of talking to you. But when it comes to the contractor, be very clear on your timeline and your budget, right? Because you want to make sure that they understand this is what needs to be done and by this time, and how much they're planning to charge you for it. And if they are going over budget, you want them to do a formal change order. And so they say, okay, this is going to cost additional because of these reasons, right? And if it's something that they've done wrong, they have to begin to eat those costs, right? It's not for you to do it. And then I like to say, if I'm going to pay a contractor, you pay them as work has been completed, right? So you completed this, now you get paid for it, and you do it by phases. And my friend, she's building one of my really good girlfriends is building 3 new construction homes she's in Enterprise, Alabama. She buys lots and builds homes. She has severe penalties in place for her contractors when they don't meet their deadlines. Severe, like money starts getting deducted. And so that gives them an incentive to stay on track. Is she reasonable? Yeah, because when you're doing new construction, does weather play a part in it? Of course it does. Can there be delays in like cement? Of course, you know, supply delays, of course. So being reasonable, but if it's literally just on the contractor not doing what they're supposed to do, yeah, we're gonna start deducting some money, you know. And she got burnt several times being nice, super nice, because women in this industry, we can be really nice and don't want to make things too much, you know. We want to be nice and we don't want to be confrontational, But listen, you got to be knowledgeable about what's going on in the process, and also speak up and advocate for yourself and make sure you're controlling the money. And if something doesn't feel right, and I used to be like that, things didn't feel right, and I would go home and I couldn't sleep, and I'd be like, oh man, this ain't going good. But I wouldn't say nothing. And I would let weeks go by knowing like, this still ain't going good, but maybe it's gonna turn around. No, now I'll be like, it ain't going good. You got one day. Get it together or get gone. You know, we ain't got time for it. You know, because once you lose money, you start being like, I'm not doing this no more. Not if this is really.
That's right.
And so then I realized, I'm not being a bitch. I'm advocating for myself and my assets. And you can either respect it or I don't work with you. But now I've built such a great team. They don't mess with me. They know Alexis don't play, but Alexis is fair. And that's all I can ask. Alexis gonna pay on time, and Alexis is gonna be fair. But Alexis ain't getting ready to play with you. And that's just how I've had to be. So
next slide, Josh.
I think I kind of talked through them. Oh man, we run out of time and I didn't even get to Airbnb.
Oh, you got to come back, girl.
I know that's right.
It's a lot though. Airbnb is a lot. Like it's its own whole thing. Oh man, maybe we can come back and just do Airbnb.
Absolutely.
Or guess what? There's a module in the course.
I love it.
That's right. With the 50% discount.
With the coupon.
50%. It's a 2-hour module in my course, 2-hour module just on long-term and short-term rentals too. So maybe I can come back and touch on it a little bit, but it's in the course, it's a module, and you can get everything you need. We go into that. I go into arbitrage, because a lot of people want to get into Airbnb, but they're like, I can't find nothing to buy. Well, arbitrage is definitely a way to get into it. And that's pretty much you rent a property and then put it on Airbnb. You sublease it on short-term rental. I have a friend, he just got 3 properties in Atlanta, 3 nice ones too. I was like, oh, let me get my arbitrage. Let me start arbitraging. But I don't really do that. I own mine. But yeah, it's a viable way. You just got to do it the right way. And short-term and long-term rental both have their pros and cons, and I love both. It's a lot. It is. I'm gonna have to come back for that.
Yeah, you got to come back for that, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll skip that. Y'all want to just go into questions so we can get some people?
We will definitely do that. So guys, now is the time. We have about 8 minutes left. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask Alexis? Come off of mute and ask your question.
I see one though. I don't think we covered it. How long do you have to wait before you can refinance a primary property? You supposed to be in it a year. It used to be a year and a day, but now I keep hearing people refinance and wait sooner than that now.
I think it's at 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know with FHA, you're supposed to live in it a year and a day before you move out of it, but I think people have 6 months now to refinance. So, okay. But when you refinance, you got to make sure 6 months allowed you to get enough equity in it that they'll even allow you to refinance, right? Because in 6 months, I mean, if you bought at market value, unless you just bought way below market value, you might not really even have the equity to be able to refinance. So, and you probably won't be able to pull anything out. So you just kind of got to see it. Every property is different. Yeah.
Any other questions, guys?
This Alvin, can you hear me?
Yes.
Or see me? I think I have my video on. Let me make sure I have my video on right quick. I'm sorry, I have my
video.
I see you, Alvin.
Hey, what's on, Alex? I met you at the Rest and Gyms. I was sitting on the left-hand side of you. I'm not sure you remember.
Did you ask a question?
Yeah,
I think I remember.
Yeah. I was there. Yeah, thank you again for this. This is amazing. I had a question about 1031. I have a property here in Atlanta. It's paid off, free and clear. But I'm I was going to sell it and just keep the cash and reinvest it. But someone told me about 1031. What's your take on 1031? What's the benefit? I know it's about, saving your taxes, not paying, or deferring your taxes rather. So can you provide a little preview on that if you have mine, or that's in your course below?
No, I like 1031. I mean, listen, I don't like giving the government money. Nobody, I don't like paying. If I ain't gotta pay taxes, I'm trying to skirt them like Elon, right? He's skirting all around. I'm a skirt too, right? So 1031 is such a great option to be able to do that. If you plan to invest in real estate, right? So if you plan on buying something else, hey, put it in 1031 exchange. If you say, you know what, listen, I'm trying to put my money in crypto and double it up, then you're gonna have to get hit with them taxes and do that. But if you're planning to invest in more real estate, I think it's a great option. And it can sit there for a while. I know somebody who's been doing a ton of extensions on their 1031 because they've been using COVID. So, listen, to avoid taxes, if you think you're going to get hit hard by capital gains, 1031 is definitely a viable option, and it's a great way to be able to do it and put your money into an additional asset.
And thank you for that. And then my second question about private lender. My fiance, she makes more than I make, savings, things of that nature. She talk about real estate. I have my license as well. I'm not practicing selling and buying properties, but I just buy for myself. So how do I entice her and will and saying, hey, look, these are things I could return on your investment. And our investment, we're going to get married, matter of fact, next year, but I just want to kind of get that out. It's business, but at the same time, it's personal. But how can we make it, as a business investment versus just, hey, look, let's use this money to do A, B, and C. So
I gotta probably be, and you know what? Normally I can answer all questions, but I am the worst person to ask because I'm single and I don't mix my money and my honey at all. So I like that one. Alvin, I can't answer that. I don't know how you supposed to come.
Don't mix your money and your honey.
I know that's right.
We don't do that.
Listen, that's a social media post right there. Don't mix your money and your honey.
Don't mix your money and your honey, Alvin.
No, seriously, if y'all are joining forces, you're getting married, congratulations, y'all are engaged. Definitely, I really feel like anybody you're getting married to, and I'm single. So y'all should be having those kind of conversations about financing up front and like where you see your long-term goal going, where she sees it, because listen, I've had to get out of relationships because I'm an investor, and I think from an investor mindset, and I ain't that good enough to change nobody into thinking like that, So I think those are conversations you should be having, and y'all figure out a viable plan for how y'all are going to move forward with investing, both of y'all together.
Yes, thank you so much.
But listen, don't buy the primary residence together. You buy your home, she put one in her name, you put one in your name. Both of y'all use your FHA loans separately, okay? Let's do that.
Yes, no question. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Literally, when you go on it to say you want to purchase the course, it's a 5-module course. One is about finding the right deals, funding your deals. I really break down all the numbers. The renovation process, I go over how to renovate process. I go through the whole entire build process from top to bottom. The 4th module is probably my most popular one, and it's how to find land under $1,000. Everybody wants to know how you find land. And then I added the 5th module, long-term versus short-term rentals, okay? So those are the 5 modules. When you go click on it, say you want to get the course, it'll say coupon code, and you'll put in TCRG 2021, and it'll automatically take 50% off.
Awesome. Alexis, this has been amazing. Thank you so much.
It really has. Definitely. Yes. Thank you. It was right on time.
It was good.
Right on time.
Anytime. I love it.
Oh, don't worry.
Okay.
Well, guys, that is it for Closing the Gap. Make sure you follow us on our YouTube channel, and we will see you next week.
Next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.